Even get to cross.
It's Friday night, guys. Time for Long Shots. Long Shots TV. We're going to talk a little baseball tonight, and also some finals, playoffs for NBA and the NHL. I want to get you guys' thoughts tonight, so shoot your questions over on the chat. We're there on Twitter at long_shots_TV and over on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can type in Long Shots TV and that'll take you right to us. Glad to have you here tonight, guys. It's going to be an interesting little thing. I'm all by myself tonight, so bear with me and shoot your questions out this way. But we just wanted to take a look at baseball, the season so far, where the team's at, what the standings are, and what can we potentially look for or exploit when betting these games. In the American League, Houston's on top. They have a number one rank overall. They're 38-16 with a 70% winning percentage. So quite impressive there. You've got two pitchers that we'll talk about in a minute in Houston that are their ERAs are under 3. They're just smoking it. So these are sometimes pitchers to key on, but you usually get a pretty hefty line in those cases. In the AL West, Houston, and then you got the Angels right behind them, and then Texas. And second place, the Angels, 11.5 games back right now. You've got the All-Star break coming up, so the question is who's going to make the changes? It's going to be necessary for survival to make it down through the dog days of summer and during the stretch into the postseason. But that's going to be an interesting question. I have my very strong opinion, but I want to hear your guys' opinions on your teams and your players and why. Has anybody voted for the All-Star game yet? I'd like to see who you guys have voted for or have voted for at this point. That would be very interesting as well. Over in the AL East, we got the Yankees on top, and then Boston. Yankees are 31-20, winning 60.8% of their games. In their 14-10, 17-8 at home, 14-12 on the road. So fairly evenly spread. Impressive. Houston is the same. Well, over in the AL Central, you've got the Twins in Minnesota, and then Cleveland and Detroit behind them. Detroit's playing tonight, and last I checked, they were up 10-1, I believe, on the White Sox. Knocked Holland out after 2 1/3 innings. He was just beat up there. The Tigers are on it tonight, but my Tigers can be a streaky team. They're either hot or they're cold, and that's unfortunate. Michael Fulmer was pitching tonight. Fantastic game with him, so I do look for them to make a little bit of a run, especially after the All-Star break. They'll heat up hopefully a little bit, and there's even a rumor. I was talking to some key people today, and there's a rumor that they are going to put some people on the trading block before deadline to maybe see if there's any potential interest for making a move out there, whether they do it. Question in, do you think San Francisco Giants will make a comeback? If so, where do you see them at? Well, I tell you what, San Francisco Giants, they're 22-33 right now. They're only winning 40% of the games. However, the Giants are one of those teams that they always have the potential to come back, obviously, but they just have some key positions that they need to get solidified, and of course injuries don't help them either. But the Giants overall, I think will come back. They're 11.5 games out right now. They're 13-14 at home, 9-19 on the road. They've lost 3 in a row, but again, you don't count those Giants out. However, that being said, I think they've got a very tough time going up against NL West of Colorado, Arizona, and the Dodgers that are just going to really be tough for them to get past. Their overall rank right now is 24th, but the Giants are one of those teams I look at usually as a second half team, and I think they will be that. So hopefully, they'll do what you need to do. But I tell you what, if they get into the playoffs, it's going to be as a wild card. All right. So let's jump down. We were at Minnesota and Cleveland. Talking about them. Minnesota is actually ranked 22 overall, 22nd overall, winning 54% of their games. A couple of key stats. When I was looking through the numbers, guys, home and road records are always a key piece of advice or a key stat that we look at when trying to potentially look at someone to place some money on. And a stat popped up here. Let me find it really quick. That was, Houston number one. They're 18-6 on the road, 20-10 at home, but 18-6 on the road. That's absolutely fantastic. A hard stat to keep up in the major leagues. It's pretty amazing. However, one team over in the AL Central, the Cleveland Indians, they're 16-10 on the road, 12-14 at home. So their road record is much better. Why is that? What's different? They just usually the teams are going to do better at home. I'm sure you guys would agree with me, but for some reason, and that's something to key on, guys, is watch those Indians when they're on the road, because a lot of times you'll get them at plus money. It'll be a good payday for you. So, excuse me. All right, jumping back over the National League standings, Milwaukee in the Central, of course, is on top. St. Louis is behind them in the Cubs. The poor Cubbies just didn't pick up where they left off last year, but they rank 8th overall, so don't count them out. They're 26-27 right now. A team that can get hot and stay hot. Cincinnati is a team that kind of surprised me a little bit. They've got some good bats. Not able to win the slugfests, unfortunately. So, over in the NL West, we got Colorado on top. They rank 12th overall, but that's a team to watch, guys. Colorado Rockies, their road record is 19-9. Their home record is 15-13. So, again, guys, and I know I've already made some money. I know some other of our cappers on the site have made some money off this team so far already, getting plus money on the road with Colorado, which they're also a great over team, or you would think they're a great over team, but we'll take a look at that in a minute, because I think you'll be surprised at over team is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pose this question out there. Some of you can chime in and see, we'll see what your answer is, but who is, right now, without looking it up, guys, no cheating, who do you think has the best over-under record right now in baseball? All right, we'll answer that in just a few minutes. Another question up, do you think the D-backs are contenders this season, or will they drop in the second half of the season? That's a great question, because the D-backs, they rank 9th overall. They're 34-22. This was actually a team that a lot of folks had picked. You mean the Arizona Diamondbacks or the Astros, or did you want to know about both of them this season? But anyway, Arizona, 9th overall, and this is a tough division, guys. The NL West, Colorado, Arizona, and the Dodgers. Dodgers overall ranked 2, Arizona 9, and Colorado, who's in first place, is 12. Oh, that was his answer. Okay, gotcha. You think it's the Astros? Okay. Well, we'll answer that question in a minute. So keep them coming, guys. My apologies on that, but yeah, we'll get to it. Unfortunately, my chat box doesn't have a big display under, so sometimes I'll miss questions. So I apologize if I do. Let's go on down and finish the NL East. with Washington ranking 5th overall, 33-19, winning 63.5% of their games, with the Mets right behind them, and then Atlanta 10 games back. So in the NL East and in the AL West, those are two divisions that Houston and Washington are kind of dominating right now, are taking over. The rest of the divisions are fairly close. They're like the Cardinals and the Cubs are 2.5 games back from Milwaukee. Dodgers are half a game back, but then you drop all the way down to the Giants and the Padres, who are 11.5 games back. So San Diego was, they've been taking advantages of good teams at a weak moment. So they came off a sweep of who they just swept. But anyway, that's another team you want to watch for plus money, because if those good teams are vulnerable any specific time or any given time, that's a good time to lay some money. Okay, let's jump over to pitching. And this was an interesting thing that I was looking through, but I was talking about Houston having two pitchers, and Dallas Keuchel and Irvin Santana of the Minnesota Twins rank in the top 1 and 2. But Houston has McCullers Jr. also ranked number 7th on that list, and these guys are they're doing good. They're pitching great. ERAs are low. Dallas is at 1.81 ERA. And of the Twins, he is at 1.75 ERA, which is just unheard of. But for Houston, you've also got McCullers here, and his ERA is at 2.48. So you got a lot of guys under 3. And I know there's been some talk in some of the chats and groups that I've been in lately about guys watching for these certain pitchers and betting on that team. Guys, that's a good strategy. However, usually when you get that pitcher in his rotation, you're going to get a hefty line on that. So then the opportunity comes in: do you play the under or do you play the run line? That's always a tough decision. You got to have more information on it. So I tend to stay away from these top pitchers. I'm looking for more of a area where it's just a slight edge in pitching, and taking into account fielding and, most importantly, on base percentage. That's going to be key into that. But let's run down at this point in the season the top 10 pitchers, where they're at as far as overall rank. But Keuchel is first, Santana second, Jason Vargas of the Royals third, Derek Holland of the White Sox is ranked third also, but he's going to end up dropping after tonight's game. He got tagged pretty hard. Mike Leake and Andrew Twiggs share the 5 spot. Cardinals and Triggs for the Athletics. Then you got McCullers for the Astros at 7. Wade Miley and Lance Lynn 8. In the 10 spot, there's 3 guys: Luis Serrano of the Yankees, Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, and then Michael Fulmer of Detroit. Now, Michael Fulmer should move up a little bit. He just having a stellar game with the Tigers tonight. And I'll jump over here real quick and see if I can get a look at that. Yeah, it's 11-4. Knocked Holland out after 2 1/3. Tigers just a flat unloaded on them. So, but things like that happen because Detroit's been struggling really bad, and it was about time for them to unload on it somebody. So I'm glad it was the White Sox. All right, Boston and Baltimore, they're underway. Top of the 7th, 3-2. Asher against Porcello, and Baltimore's on top of them 3-2. You got San Francisco at Philadelphia, Eckhoff and Block. San Francisco 9-0 over Philly. That's a game of opportunity. That's a series they should win. And you were asking about San Francisco. Yes, they should be taking advantages of those opportunities. If they do that and stay healthy, then yes, after the All-Star break, San Francisco is gonna have a better second half than Yankees at Toronto. Pineda and Laureano. Toronto's up over New York, 6-4, bottom of the sixth. Then we have Atlanta at Cincinnati. Fultonowitz, could never pronounce that guy's name, and Bronson Arroyo of Cincinnati, and Atlanta's up on Cincinnati 2-0, top of the eighth. Arizona, Miami. Corbin against Urena. It's 6-5 Miami in the top of the seventh. Pittsburgh, New York Mets. Pittsburgh is actually on the road on top of the Mets right now, 9-7. Total, that one in the Detroit game, 15 runs in that one and 16 in this one. So a lot of runs being scored out there. LA, Milwaukee, just in the top of the fifth with 0-0 score. Kershaw against Nelson. There was an opportunity, guys. If you're liking that kind of thing, you got Clayton Kershaw on the road against Milwaukee. But look at the line. You got 200, 210, 220. So, like I say, those top pitchers, it's going to be tough to get a number on them. Cleveland and Kansas City, top of the fifth. It's nothing there. And early today we had St. Louis Cardinals at Chicago Cubs. Lynn against Lackey. Lackey won a game finally, won it 3-2. Which brings up another point, guys. If you're looking at especially some of these scores from yesterday and today, early in the season we tend to start betting those overs a lot. The question is now, is it time to start betting some of the unders? Okay, so let's take a quick look at that. Anybody got another guess for the top or under team yet? We've got one at Houston, the Houston Astros, but I'll go ahead and give you the answer now, guys, since we're there. It's actually the New York Mets. 72.7% of their games this season have gone over the total, 32, 12, and 8, plus 2.2. Yankees, nope. They're actually pretty far down the line. Most of their games, they're just slightly on the over, 56.9%, which isn't bad. So, but Mets, guys, 72.7% on the over. So you got to kind of keep that in mind and look at that one. That's a potential totals game to bet. However, we're getting into that part of the season now where you're going to want to start betting the unders. Model changes a little bit. The teams are starting to settle into a grind a little bit more. They know the All-Star break's coming up. They're going to try to, themselves. However, at this point, the pitchers are also starting to settle in. The bullpens are starting to take a little bit better look at stock in their rotation and where they're at, and a right-hander in a certain position, a left-hander. They usually do, but they know who the guy is by now that they need in these. The second team, actually, guys, is Atlanta. The Braves are 62% on the over, 31-19-1. Then you have the Miami Marlins at 30-19-3, 61.2%, and then it's Milwaukee at 59.6%. So there's four teams, guys, that you really want to kind of key in on day in and day out to see who they're playing, whether they're home or on the road, and what that total is. Got a really good shot at making some good money. All right, now the run line. This is one of the ones that I really like. I love the run line, guys. And who do you think is the run line team this year? I know Mike said Yankees on the totals, but actually Yankees are second in run line at 62.7%, 32-19. But the number one team is Milwaukee Brewers, 35-19-0, 64.8%, plus 1.4 on the run line. So if you're a run line bettor, take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers, Yankees, and then the Houston Astros are right behind them at 33 and 21, 61.1%. So good teams if you're a run line bettor, whether it's first half or total game. That either way, you're going to want to look at those teams. But guys, Houston Astros right now are just the team to beat in baseball. They seem to be dominating. They've got two pitchers in the top 10. I think they're kind of hitting their stride and starting to settle in a little bit. Now, granted, we've got the All-Star break coming up. That's going to change things up a little bit. The All-Star break does a couple of things, and there's some key betting perspectives that we use coming out of the All-Star break, which are very profitable, and we'll talk about that in a week or two. But those are stats and key teams look at when doing your analysis in the morning and trying to figure out who to bet on. Okay? All right, guys, if you got any other questions about the baseball teams, just let me know. I did want to talk about NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs real quick. Boy, everybody saw that game last night. What did you think of LeBron James and his performance by the Cleveland Cavaliers? Oh my goodness. But you know what? Things like that happen. Historical results that are similar to that. The number one seed has a straight up record since 2003-2004 season of 53 and 55. The number one seed has a record against the spread of, get this, 47 and 61 against the spread, guys. So that's a pretty significant stat to look at when betting game 2, which is Saturday, I believe. Sunday at 8 p.m. And the line right now is setting at 8.5. Guys, if you were like me and you took Cleveland at +7, that wasn't a bad bet, guys. That was just one of those situations where Cleveland just didn't show up and come to play. Paid the price for it. You can't do that. Kevin Durant had a hell of a game. 31.7 points per game is what he's averaging. 9.7 rebounds and 5.3 assists. So, and then you got Stephen Curry right behind him. So, these are two top guys, but you also have Klay Thompson and Draymond Green who are contributing, and that's, always an added bonus. On the other hand, or on the other side of the court, you've got LeBron James and Kyrie Irving doing all the work. All the points, all the rebounds, all the assists, they're coming from there, except for in the rebounding department, you got Kevin Love. Other than that, there's just not a lot of support for the Cavs right now. I'm sure that's going to be different in game 2. What do you guys think? Revenge game, is out of the way? We'll be closer. But Cavs have zero chance for KD. Okay, so there's one guy that says, Cleveland doesn't have a chance this year, and you know what, guys, probably right, and I would keep that in the back of my mind when betting these playoff games. But here's the question: think that the Warriors could sweep the Cavs? I mean, played great D, yes. But he couldn't hit the shots. You're right, Andy. That problem there. They need some contributors. They need to get down, inside. They need to slow the Warriors down big time, and otherwise they're just not going to have a chance. But my question is, can they be swept? I think it's entirely possible, guys. Andy says that the Cavs are going to win their first home game in Cleveland. Boy, if they don't, Andy, it's over. I'm telling you right now, it's done. It's over. It's Warriors in 4. It'll be done. So you better hope that they do win that game. Game 3 then is in Cleveland, and Game 4 is in Cleveland. Game 3 is Wednesday night, and Game 4 Friday night. And if we have Game 5, it'll be Monday on the 12th. Back and go. Been an interesting season. I'm not a huge basketball fan, guys. I do pretty decent betting on them, but if you'll notice or have noticed, I don't bet a lot on NBA. College basketball is my forte. Guys, I think are just my opinion, but I think you got a lot of big egos out there making a lot of big money. And if they want to play one day, great. If they don't want to play, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, they're in their paycheck. So sometimes I think it's all about attitude and personality, and that's a statistic that you can't gauge. So makes it a little bit more difficult. So anyway, guys, real quick, we're going to touch on NHL. Have the Penguins just massacring the Predators already? So, question, guys, can the Predators do anything about this? Are they going to be able to step up and give them a challenge at this point, or is this just another playoff series that is over? So, tomorrow is the next game, and right now the predictions, or the line, sorry, is Pittsburgh plus 122, Nashville 135, being that they are at home. And guys, tell you what, wouldn't surprise me if Pittsburgh doesn't sweep this one out. If Nashville does get a win, I think they get the one win at home, and that's about it. So, not much to say there, guys. What about you? I mean, do you think the Predators have any chance at all? I don't think they do. So it's going to be different, but it'll be interesting anyway. I do love to watch hockey, but it's been kind of disappointing this year since my Red Wings didn't make it, and after 25 years being in playoffs, so wasn't too much interested after that. But hockey is fun, but man, there's just not. I can't remember the last playoff that was really competitive, but that's what I'd like to see. So, all right, guys. But your jersey still rocks. All right. I don't know what you're talking about there, Andy, but I'll let it go. Yep. Oh, my jersey. Oh, was that what you're? Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry, my technical producer had to step over and tell me what you were talking about, Andy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like my Red Wings jerseys. I've got a few of them. And, know, I'll bleed red until I die. So, but guys, that's baseball. That's just a couple of tips on some things that I've seen when I'm reading through stats and looking at win loss, over unders, run lines, statistics, things like that. Give you a little bit of an advantage, something to look at, something to keep in mind, to vote on. Remember, you're coming up to the All-Star break. Remember, things change after the All-Star break dramatically when it comes to strategies, and we'll talk about that hopefully in a couple of weeks. Guys, you don't want to miss us next week. We're going to have our Poker Nights in America show. It's going to be a special show. We're going to make a huge announcement on a new poker site and things that we're doing, have put together, and we're working with some other people to provide another place to play that is very unique, guys. I think you're going to find it very interesting. If you're a poker player at all, you're going to want to tune into this because it's big, guys. So don't miss that. And guys, tune in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and And that's about all I got. So, guys, remember to take a shot with long shots because we are the game. Join us next week, guys.